Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network, brought to you by, I'm back in the swamp of Maryland. I had a great vacation in Florida with my family. As you know, I did a live show in Florida, but I'm back in the swamp of Maryland doing God's work, working on campaigns, working to push the America First agenda everywhere that I can be in the DMV area. I know it's tough. I know it's rough, but you know what? If I don't do it, no one else will. So I'm going to do it. But thank you guys for sticking with me. Thank you guys for being here tonight. As you know, right now we have breaking news, major breaking news this past weekend. As you know, New York City gunmen yesterday at 6:30 p.m. just decided to stroll across Midtown Manhattan on 51st and Park Avenue wearing a semi-automatic weapon, an AR-15, and just go into a financial building that had the NFL, people that worked with Blackstone, people who work for big financial firms, and tried to actually go to the people that work in the NFL and Blackstone and financial firms, etc. And unfortunately, he couldn't get all the way up to the 44th floor, ended up at the 33rd floor, looked to the left, looked to the right, was like, oh my God, there's nobody here I can murder, and then murdered himself. But he killed 4 people doing this action. He killed a police officer and many others. We send our condolences to the victims' families. We memorialize the fallen forever. It's disgusting that this happened in broad daylight, that this is allowed to happen in broad daylight, that this man was allowed to carry in broad daylight a semi-automatic weapon. Only in New York, guys, only in New York. I can tell you, I lived in New York for 5 years. I felt very unsafe living in New York. I would never go out in Midtown Manhattan between 7 to 9 p.m., even 10 p.m. at night. And I worked in Midtown Manhattan. I knew exactly where those buildings were, where that guy went into. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. And you have, Eric Adams, he's running for re-election. This is on his watch. You have this idiot who's the Democratic primary nominee for mayor, this Mondami guy, this socialist mofo, who all of a sudden sends his condolences to the police officer. All of a sudden says we send our condolences to anyone in law enforcement that was hurt. And of course, we thank our law enforcement. Well, let us remind the audience of this moron, how he actually tweeted, I support defunding the police. So this guy is just saying he loves the police for votes. But at the end of the day, he's an anti-Semite mofo. He hates the police. He hates America. And there's actually controversy with that mofo. In February, he eloped with his now wife out in Uganda, which is where he's born and raised, which is where he's from. He should go back there. They should revoke his visa. He should go live in Uganda with his wife. And his wife comes from a very well-to-do family. And they had a huge, lavish wedding, 3 days in Uganda. And he didn't really care about America. He didn't really care about being an American citizen. It was all Uganda first. And that's the problem when you bring these socialist a-holes into our country, like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, who really don't care about America. They put their countries first. They put their own people first instead of putting their constituents first. But what happened here in New York City is just, it's disgusting. And this guy was ID'd as Shane Tamura. Now, of course, CNN, which is fake news mainstream media, they said he was white. Of course, they want to equate this murder to being white. Why do they have to bring up race? Why do they have to bring up color, ethnicity? Like, why is that like the talking point? But it's CNN. It's CNN, guys. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just correct. It wasn't an AR-15. It was an M4. Excuse me. It was an M4. But it was still a semi-automatic weapon. So anyway, so CNN identified this guy as being white. You can clearly see he wasn't white. He was black. Some people say he might have been Muslim. And he just blatantly did what he did. I mean, it's disgusting. But of course, Eric Adams, he says, it's all about the guns. We need to reform guns, reform the Second Amendment, all this crap. Again, it is not the gun. It is never the gun. It is the person pulling the trigger. It's the person behind the gun. It's the crazy mofo that shoots innocent people, 4 innocent people. One of them was a VP of a big company. She was Jewish. So people think that this was an anti-Semitic attack. People think that this was an attack on certain people of high status, multimillionaires, billionaires. I mean, this guy planned this. He didn't just wake up and say, I'm going to take my AR-15 and I'm going to shoot a bunch of people. Or sorry, his M4. He literally put this together. This was premeditated. He knew exactly where the floor was that he was headed to. He just didn't realize that he couldn't go all the way up there. And then when he realized that he couldn't go all the way up there, he shot himself, tried to make himself out to be a martyr. It's kind of like what they do in Gaza. It's kind of like what Hamas is, what these terrorist organizations do. They strap bombs on themselves and they just blow up innocent people, including themselves. They feel like they're martyrs when they do that. The more they kill, the more they feel Allah will take them and they walk beside Allah in the kingdom of heaven. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. But again, we're still getting more information about this. And people, of course, ask, what was the motive? What was the motive? The motive was the guy was out there to kill innocent people. I believe he was out to kill these high executives in the NFL, Blackstone, and so forth, Jewish business owners, Jewish finance people. I mean, this is part of the financial district in Midtown Manhattan. I know because I lived there. Yeah, it's true. Another coward with excuses. He was a coward, total coward. I agree with that. When you kill yourself, you're a freaking coward. That's the truth. But again, our hearts go out to the victims' families. Again, we will memorialize the fallen. There are still 2 other people that are in the hospital with severe injuries, and we pray for them. We pray that they get better. And we hope that this never happens again. But again, this is why elections are so important. Elections have consequences, but it is very important, New Yorkers, especially Jewish New Yorkers, who you put in as your next mayor, whether it's going to be Eric Adams again, or it's going to be this Democrat socialist mofo that's going to make your lives a living hell. Because I can tell you, as a Jewish person, if Mondami becomes the mayor, I can't go to New York City. I can't live there. Maybe perform there and go away. Maybe. Somebody told me don't even perform there. You'll get killed. I mean, I'd have to have a private car, security, detail, firearms around me. I mean, I'm not going there by myself. Hell no. And I'm certainly not walking around Midtown Manhattan by myself either as a single woman. Heck no. Or someone that, or I'm sorry, if I don't have somebody with me, I would make sure that I have a man with me, someone with a firearm with me, total security around me. So it's just, you have to look at all of this, guys. You have to look at all of this and you have to say to yourself, what do I want my America to be? What do I want my New York to be? Remember what President Trump said, we will never be a socialist nation. And he meant it. If you start putting in a socialist moron as the mayor of New York, they never go away. Once you get these morons in on the local level, they just go up and up and up and up and up. And once you get them in on the federal level, it's very hard to get them out because there's no term limits. Yeah, that's true. He did have a history of mental health. No excuse for what he did. I understand he had a history of mental health, but that still does not give you an excuse to go get an M4 and kill innocent people. There's a lot of people with mental health out there. I feel bad for those people. I do a lot of work with people with severe autism, bipolarity. I've given to charities. I've even dated men that have autism. I've dated every guy, every form of autism you can think of, Asperger's, etc. beyond. It's there. Dated people with severe anxiety as well. It's there. But that doesn't give somebody an excuse to go out and kill innocent people. No way. And now another breaking news with my friend Eric Daughtry, what he wrote on his Twitter account, on his X account. So as we know, over the weekend, there was a jazz festival in Cincinnati, Ohio. A gang of black people. I say their race because this is important. A gang of black people. They blatantly went and hurt over 100 white people that were at this jazz festival. They specifically targeted white people here. They hurt them. They punched them. It was all on video. And what bothers me is that nobody called the police. Nobody had a firearm with them. Nobody did anything. They just stood there and watched these white people, these white women. I saw a lot of these white women get hurt and punched and tumbled and attacked, bloody noses, bloody faces, practically raped. And it took like 3 or 4 days for the mainstream media to finally say something. I reported it right away. And now Attorney General Pam Bondi is taking action. She's ordered the FBI to get involved in the incident. And hopefully justice will be done. Who the hell goes to a party and watches a bunch of people getting beat up and just stands there and does nothing? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid it's going to happen to you? If you don't stand up for yourself, if you don't stand up for other people, what does that say about you? You have to stand up. You have to rise up. Because when you don't, those people win. The vigilantes and delinquents win. You're watching a bunch of people get bashed, their heads getting bashed, and you do nothing. You just record it. And unfortunately, we do have to start thinking of bringing firearms and other things to these festivals, to these parties, because you never know when a crazy is there. It's disgusting. Yeah, no police reports. That's correct. There was no police reports. No police there. If police were there, they turned a blind eye. Nobody called the police. They see a bunch of innocent people getting pummeled. And this was a black gang attacking a big group of white people. I bring up race here because it has to be noted. There's the black people on camera dissing the white people, saying racial slurs against them. It's all recorded. They were not provoked. They just thought it'd be okay to just beat up a bunch of white people at a festival. Now you can't even go to a jazz festival for fear you're going to be attacked. Like I said, what happened in Israel on October 7th eventually happens over here. I told you there is illegal Syrian and illegal Lebanon and illegal Afghan refugees here in this country. The Mossad told Joe Biden and his administration about it. Nobody did anything. Governor Larry Hogan allowed illegal Afghan refugees into Montgomery County, where I have a residency, never got rid of them. Chris Van Hollen loves the illegals that live in Maryland. As you know, he went on Marylanders' taxpayer dimes over to El Salvador to try to bring Kilmar Garcia back. Called him a Maryland man. Even though the guy isn't illegal, the guy was arrested for trafficking, human trafficking, smuggling people from Tennessee. But we should all thank Chris Van Hollen for going to El Salvador on our taxpayer dollars, your taxpayer dollars, because I'm not a resident of Maryland, Marylanders' taxpayer dollars, to try to bring back an illegal criminal. Disgusting. And what did Senator Van Hollen and Johnny Oshevsky, will bring that up later, they tried to combat an ICE detention center yesterday, like real morons. Like, what are they trying to prove? Trying to say ICE is bad. Well, guess what? Deputy Chief of Staff, my good friend Stephen Miller, hashtag that's my Jew, hashtag always my Jew, said there's going to be huge bonuses for people that join ICE. There's a huge recruitment now since the One Big Beautiful Bill was passed. Remember, the One Big Beautiful Bill allocated a lot of money to ICE agents and Border Patrol. It allocated a way to have 10,000 extra ICE and Border Patrol agents. So they're calling for recruitment. President Trump retruths today on his flight home from Scotland that we need ICE agents now. Let's bring them on. And they have to have merit. They have to be hired based on merit, and they have to have America First principles and America First ideals. It's the truth. We have to get our country back on track. We have to get our country back on track. But those are two of our breaking newses, guys. And we'll have more breaking news coming up throughout the segment as well, or throughout the show. Now going into segment one. Make justice great again. We'll put up the first slide. Segment one, breaking. There we go. President Trump just announced he's reached a trade deal with the European Union. This was a huge deal. As you know, President Trump, he went to Turnberry, Scotland, where he has a brand new, beautiful golf course. It's gorgeous, played golf there. And he hung out with the head of the EU. He hung out with the Prime Minister of the UK. And the deal, and they made a deal. Remember the head of the European Union, that woman, I forgot her name. She said, I'm willing to make a deal. I'll make a deal with President Trump, because she knows she has to make a deal with him. So European goods coming into the US will have a 15% tariff. And in exchange, the EU will put no tariffs on US goods. They're going to start bringing things to the US. They're going to start spending more money and investing more money into the United States. It was a good deal and a great weekend for President Trump. That's how you get it done. Remember, he wrote the book, The Art of the Deal. He's a master negotiator, master businessman. And what did his sons do this weekend? They opened up another golf course in Aberdeen, Scotland. President Trump was at the ribbon cutting today. The guy just keeps on building. The guy knows how to make money. The guy knows how to be successful, and he wants America to have the same success. But look what he did. Sat down with the head of the European Union, told her exactly what's going to happen, and she played ball. And she was happy to play ball. And the UK Prime Minister, he agreed to playing ball too. But I'm pissed at the UK Prime Minister because what did he do? He plays ball with President Trump. He goes on Marine One with President Trump. And then the minute President Trump leaves, what does he do? He acknowledges Palestine as a state, just like his friend Macron. The UK has become a very anti-Semitic country, very anti-Semitic area. France has a lot of Muslims that do not like Jews. I remember watching on the TV, these crazy terrorists, these Muslim terrorists would get into a truck and just ram a bunch of people in the middle of Paris. There was also huge infighting going on near the Champs-Élysées in Paris, France. That's where all the shopping is. You couldn't even go shopping at the Champs-Élysées. That's where Chanel is, Ferragamo. That's where all like the greats, the perfumeries. It was all closed down because there was fighting going on there. Because of these Muslim terrorist rebels. That's what Macron has done to his country. He doesn't care. He's a socialist himself. So all these socialist leaders are recognizing Palestine as a state. Palestine is not a state. There's no such thing as Palestine. And the words free Palestine, which is what that shooter screamed out before he killed himself, has become the new Allahu Akbar. It's disgusting. Anybody that says free Palestine should automatically go to jail, do not pass go, actually get the death penalty. Or even worse, I can't even say it. But when you say free Palestine, that is not freedom of speech. That is hate speech. That has become the new Allahu Akbar in this country. It's disgusting. I never thought in a million years that what happens in the Middle East comes here. It's really sad. It's really sad. I'm so tired of it. But despite the craziness from these idiots, President Trump still gets the job done, puts tariffs on these countries, and makes them pay. Because for far too long, the United States of America was getting screwed with the trade agreements. Now people are finally waking up and realizing that putting the tariffs on the countries actually helps the U.S. Our stock market is up. As a result, we're at record highs in the S&P this week, record highs at the Dow Jones Industrial, record highs at the NASDAQ. My father's in the financial business. He sees the markets all day and all night. When I was with him, he was like, look at this, record high, record high, record high, record high. It's amazing. You can feel the Trump tax cut effects. I feel it. I went to the grocery store today after I got off the airplane. I literally flew from Florida back to Maryland. My flight came in at like 3 p.m. I went straight to the grocery store. Under the Biden administration, I would pay like $100 to $200 for maybe like 6 items. Under the Trump administration, I bought like 10 items today. Guess how much my groceries were? They were $80. So I see the Trump effect. The cost of gas is going down. Under the Biden administration, I was paying close to $4 a gallon in the state of Maryland. Now I pay under $3. I feel it. Costs of prescription drugs are going down. Costs of over-the-counter drugs are going down. I used to buy Tylenol. It'd be like $15, $20. Now it's down to $8, $8.99. My protein bars were $15. Now they're down to $8.99. I see the effect. I hope you guys see it too. I feel the effect. It's very important. It's very important. That we all support President Trump and his policies, but also that you have to really understand the tariffs that he's putting on these countries and how it helps our economy and not hurts it. And this is also really important. Let's put on the second slide, at real Donald Trump. Now he's talking about people that have committed crimes. Talks about Obama all the time. He talked about in the UK Now he's bringing up Kamala Harris, and he's brought this up before. Paying for an endorsement. Paying for an endorsement is illegal. Kamala Harris gave Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey, and Al Sharpton millions of dollars, and they didn't do anything. Beyonce didn't come out and say, I fully endorse Kamala Harris. Neither did Al Sharpton. Neither did Oprah. I mean, Oprah, she did support her in the DNC, not in the DNC, the DNC convention. She supported Kamala Harris, but also she had her on her show and she did other stuff. But, I mean, Oprah Winfrey didn't fully come out without being paid. That's how these morons get paid. Same thing with J-Lo. The only reason J-Lo came out and supported her and Cardi B was because they got paid. Cardi B was a disaster. Cardi B went to, I think, like a rally in Pennsylvania, didn't even know what the hell to say. Didn't come from the heart. She says, oh my God, I left my speech, which is on my phone. She's calling her associate. I need my phone. I don't have my speech on me. Because it's all fake crap. Katy Perry, too. It's all fake crap. Oh, look who Katy Perry is dating now. The former prime minister, Justin Trudeau, the guy who has to like paint his eyebrows on. They're perfect for each other. They're narcissists. And he's a little gay. So that's perfect for her. She goes from destroying Orlando Bloom to now being with Justin Trudeau. I still don't understand why Orlando Bloom even dated Katy Perry to begin with. That was a waste of 10 years of his life. I hope that he upgrades and gets a better woman. Because his ex-wife, Miranda Kerr, was gorgeous. But Justin Trudeau, I mean, he's a moron anyway. But to be with Katy Perry is a downgrade. And it's good because they need to be downgraded. Because they're both morons and they're socialist idiots. So those two socialist narcissists who are going to probably share the super glue for their eyebrows and their eyelashes. And maybe Justin Trudeau will borrow a pair of her heels. Perfect couple. I wish them all the best. I think they're perfect for each other. But President Trump wants people to be held accountable. He wants Kamala Harris prosecuted here. He wants her to be held accountable. He wants Beyonce held accountable. Al Sharpton, Oprah Winfrey, all these people that illegally took endorsement money should be held accountable. Tim Walz too. And also the people that worked under Kamala Harris and worked under Tim Walz. It's very, very scary what these people did, dangerous. And these people should not get away with it, just like Barack Hussein Obama should not get away with committing treason. Now, I know President Trump said that he has immunity because he was the president at the time when he did his heinous acts. But President Obama committed treasonous acts. And there's a lot of things about that man. I won't say on live broadcasting. He's a very mysterious mofo. He called himself Barry Soetoro, had multiple different social security numbers. He is a mystery man. There's questions of him even being born in this country. And President Trump wasn't the first one to bring it up either. But there was forensic specialists that looked into his birth certificate and they said it was false. There was lawyers in Arizona, lawyers in Italy that looked at his birth certificate and they said it was false. That's why President Trump brought it up. President Trump was very good friends with Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Barack Hussein Obama tried to put Sheriff Joe Arpaio in bars for life. Thank God President Trump pardoned him. And of course, Barack Obama denies that he did any of this. If he wasn't guilty, he probably wouldn't have said anything. Yeah, I do have faith in Pam Bondi. A lot of people are shitting on Pam Bondi, but she's actually doing a lot more behind the scenes that people know. Tulsi Gabbard is doing a lot behind the scenes. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, our personal friend, he said that he's seen things that will horrify him for the rest of his life. He's never seen such corruption in the government. Now, my father worked for the DOJ. He left because he started to see the corruption. There's a lot of corruption in the federal level. It needs to all be weeded out. It needs to all be exposed. It's very important. And Kash Patel will expose it all too. Again, trust the man, trust the plan. Have faith in the people that President Trump is putting in power. We finally got Judge Jeanine through her confirmation to be the U.S. Attorney for D.C. Same thing with my friend Alina Habba in New Jersey. President Trump is pushing John Thune to get his people confirmed, to get the ambassadors confirmed. And now we go into the third slide in segment 3. There you go. At Real Donald Trump called out another narcissist POS, a real scumbag, Gavin Newsom. Hashtag fire aid is a total disaster. Looks like another Democrat-inspired scam. $100 million is missing. Get the fire victims their approvals to rebuild and do it now. He's right about that. Look what Gavin Newsom did. He stole the money from the fire victims. These people lost lives. They lost their possessions. They lost their homes. And Gavin Newsom was supposed to distribute the money, never did. It reminds me of the hurricanes that happened in my hometown of Sarasota, Florida. Sarasota, Florida didn't get hit by one, but two hurricanes within 2 weeks of each other, Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. They were waiting. My family is still waiting for FEMA assistance. It was supposed to come from the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden administration. They'll never get it. They'll never get it. It's the same thing here with the fire aid. The governor of your state was supposed to help out and didn't. Now, Governor DeSantis was right on helping the people of Florida. And he's got a great relationship with FEMA. But because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were pushing back on giving FEMA assistance to the people, it made him look bad. It made the governor in Tennessee look bad. It made the governor of Georgia look bad, and so forth. Alabama. Any state that got hit by those hurricanes, it made them look bad. People are still losing their homes. People are still suffering. There's flooding going on like crazy. We're seeing it every day. And Gavin Newsom wants to be the president of the United States in 2028? He's crazy. American people need to vote him out. Vote him out and not let him be president. Again, the minute you get these socialist, I'm a curse, bastards in office, you cannot get them out. That's why you don't get them in to begin with. Just like Mondami should not be the Democrat nominee for mayor of New York City. It's funny that now stories are coming out about him. Now people are saying he's a detriment to our nation. Well, you voted for him, and he's a Democrat nominee. He's one step closer. He's halfway there to being the mayor of New York City. Now it's up to you, New Yorkers, to do something about it. But you shouldn't have put him in to begin with. I blame the Jewish Democrats that put him in there. I blame anybody that voted for this asshole. You're in the position because you put yourself in the position. Now you're all freaking out. You should have freaked out before you voted for him. You should have listened to my show. You listen to my show because you're no idiot. But you're an idiot when you vote for a socialist. Don't be an idiot. Don't wait until it's too late. Vet your damn candidates. Or you call me, the political consultant, and I'll tell you if he's right for the job. I go deep. I dig deep. I heavily vet my candidates. I heavily vet people that are running. I will call you out. If I see you taking pictures with liberal socialist a-holes, I will put it out there for the whole world to see. Because the people need to know. And if your life is a living hell because of it, well, maybe you shouldn't have taken a picture with a liberal socialist Democrat mofo. Maybe you shouldn't call yourself a Republican and take a picture with a liberal socialist Democrat mofo. But you deserve to be exposed for your idiocy and your stupidity. I'm glad that people are exposing Mondami, but again, too late. He gets in. I have no sorrow, no mercy. Sorry, not sorry. Unbelievable. Unbelievable that it's come to this. And then we have moron socialists that are trying to run in Minnesota. Mayor of Minnesota, this guy from Somalia. All these Somalians came in because of Ilhan Omar. All these people from the West Bank came in because of Rashida Tlaib. All these illegals. All these people that were illegal, quote, obtain their American citizenship. Now they're running for office, but they put their countries first. Ilhan Omar says Somalia first. I came here to help my Somalian refugees, so I can go back to my country of Somalia and say, look what I did for you. That's what she says. I have called upon AIPAC and other organizations to primary these morons out. They should not be allowed to stay in office. They should not be allowed to be in office, period. AOC, a bartender from nowhere, nothing. All of a sudden works with this group, Justice for Democrats, and she gets in. And when she gets in, even though everybody was gerrymandered, redistricted, she's still in there. Bernie Sanders, another a-hole. That's why it's really important, guys, to really focus on the state and local level. I'm personally working on state and local level offices right now because I want the right people in there. I don't want rhinos coming in and ruining pro-Trump America First districts. And I don't want socialist Democrats coming in and ruining districts in cities and states. I want you all to care like I care. And I want you all to work your ass off like I work my ass off. And stand up and fight. Fight for your country, fight for your district, fight for your county, fight for your state. We have fought wars before, but this time it's different. You must fight for what's right in order to exist. If you know something is wrong, you fight. You call it out. You do something. You don't just stand there and allow your district and your state to go to hell. If you really feel you can win and make a difference, and run for office. But have a plan. Don't just wake up and say, I think I'm going to run. Have a freaking business plan. And make sure you know the district well. And make sure that you are the type of person that can pull your opposition to your corner. Or don't even bother running. But I personally have done a lot by being that outsider. I'm not even from Maryland. And I've done a lot in Maryland. I pushed a lot of legislation forward. I got CARE removed from the Anti-Hate Commission permanently in Annapolis. I worked with a lot of delegates in Annapolis, and I'm not a resident of the state of Maryland. So if someone like myself, who isn't even a resident of the state that I'm working in, can make a difference, you guys can too. I challenge you all not to be afraid. That's one of the messages of tonight. Not to be afraid to stand up for what you believe in. Coming up after the break, we have a returning guest with us, Lieutenant Colonel U.S. Army retired Scott Willens, but we have a special guest, a woman named Deplorabella, and they will be with us right after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network segment 2, guys. Again, we have 2 wonderful guests coming up, a returning guest, Lieutenant Colonel U.S. Army retired Scott Willens, and we have his lovely mother, Deplorabella. I don't know why I said Dorabella. I can't even read my own writing. Deplorabella. I'm so sorry for that. So we're going to bring up Scott. There we go. Hey, I'm sorry I butchered your mother's name. It's terrible. I was writing really fast. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's not the one on her birth certificate. She just goes by it now.
I think it's adorable. And let's bring up your mom right now. I love that picture.
Poor Alexandra, not to worry.
Hi, I'm so sorry that I butchered your name. I was writing really fast. I feel terrible.
Don't.
Oh my gosh. I'm fired. No, I'm just kidding.
Fine.
So again, the segment tonight, goes with a lot of the theme of what I talked about in segment 1 and in breaking news. We're dealing with socialism here in this country, unfortunately. And as President Trump said, we will never be a socialist nation. So my first question is to you, Scott. How did we get this far where we, God forbid, may have a Democrat socialist as the new mayor of New York City, and we're getting all these socialists from Somalia running for office in Minnesota and so forth? How did we get there, and how do we make sure that they don't get into office?
Well, we had this creep a gradual creep, an incremental intrusion and invasion of our culture and of our traditions and history through history revisionism, of course. But most recently, and the orchestrator of that and continuing puppet master has been Barack Hussein Obama. I mean,
Right.
the influx, the intentional import and transplantation of tens of thousands of Somalis to form Little Mogadishu in the Twin Cities, where I went to veterinary school, was very different. 30 years ago when I was there. Although keep in mind, this is the one state that didn't have the sense in 1984 to vote for Reagan over Mondale. It was just Minnesota and Washington, D.C. But Omar Fatah, who's running there, is really just the Ilhan Omar 2.0 of Little Mogadishu. And then you've got his New York clone, Mamdani. And it's all about how socialism, it just needs, it can work better. This is a new version of it. Someone has better ideas. It's never worked. Capitalism can work without being perfect. So I think I heard someone today say that socialism can only work if it's perfect, and it's never perfect. It's never utopia. And it's this incremental invasion and the wokeness and demonization of everything that was traditional Judeo-Christian values in this country that has allowed that to happen. You're talking about safety in New York. This is not the New York of Rudy Giuliani, where I was able to walk with 750,000 of my closest friends, late at night, in and out of Central Park to see Garth Brooks in concert. It's not even the same New York of the World Trade Center 1988 senior prom I had at the top of the World Trade Center that doesn't exist anymore. But this has all been staged and intentional. It's not just the socialism undermining of who am I thinking of? Obama's mentor, William Ayers, and
Pastor Reverend Wright.
Reverend Wright, and then the talking about polarizing and marginalizing and pick your target, and the cause is never the cause is always the revolution. So they've disguised and shrouded these things, and Islam does the same thing. It's called taqiyya, which is intentional
dissimulation, just lying.
Thank
to
you.
advance,
it's
Islam.
Yeah, lying. I'm looking for an intricate word, and it really doesn't need to be. It's intentional lying to gain the higher ground of what you want, and then when you have it, all bets and alliances and agreements are off. And the Democrats do that too. You look at, as socialists and as those in bed with Islamo-Marxists, they say, when they're in the minority, well, why can't you reach across the aisle? Why won't you be bipartisan? And then when they're in the majority, it's about, I have a phone and a pen, and Republicans can go to the back of the bus. And again, I'm quoting the great Barack Hussein Obama in there.
Well, Scott, let me get your mom in here. So, Deplorabella, you were brought up in a very different generation, a very different time. But do you feel that history is repeating itself now with democratic socialism, creeping into America? We saw it in Europe with World War II, and now it's trying to creep into America. What say you about that?
Communism never died. Evil never dies. There's a constant existential war between good and evil. Obama's treasonous, anti-Western coup reflects the culmination of the 100 years long march through the institutions by the left, following the Alinsky or the Gramsci models that Scott alluded to. They have used every method to weaponize the institutions, to politicize the country. I want to comment briefly on the New York shooter and tie that in because I think it fits. No doubt he is conscious that there is an open season on the successful. The attempted assassinations of Trump, the cold-blooded murder committed by Luigi Mangione, who was then elevated by the left to the position of a folk hero. I suppose they forgave him being a white man as the oppressor because he killed a white businessman. You have the open borders where we import criminality, illegality, undermine our sovereignty, and destroy our national security. We have the Soros funded AGs and DAs who have said to criminals, no jail, no bail, no justice, and they've unleashed them to prey on the American citizenry. There's a double standard of justice at the very least. There is the precedence of the Summer of Love with more than 570 insurrections, and the most recent resort to violence by the illegals and the the Students for Justice in Palestine, of which Mamdani was a founder at his school. The fact that this man is heralded as charismatic reflects the same sort of idiocy that let Obama be elevated to the presidency without ever having been vetted. He was vetted by the left. They
Mhm.
installed their Manchurian candidate. He served his third term during Biden's puppet parade,
Mhm.
and he continues to work against the West. He hates the Judeo Christian legacy. He hates Western civilization. He described the sound of the muezzins calling to prayer as the most wonderful sound he ever heard. So no doubt when Michelle dons hijabs and burqas, which might be an improvement over some of her sense of style, he will be okay with that. This man who yells about climate change and has two mansions on the sea, not apparently afraid of the rising sea levels. It's corruption, and what they did, you refer to Newsom. He used the same method that USAID did, and Doge just closed it. They funded their NGOs and their nonprofits, and they funneled some of that taxpayer money going to bogus woke agenda around the globe back into their own pockets. They gave money to institutions like Planned Parenthood and the unions that contribute to the campaigns of the Democrats. We've got to stop the money flow, both domestic and imported. And of course, the links to academia show that the left, like Ayers and Bernardine Dorn, these weathermen who were prepared to murder 25 to 50 million Americans to implement their Marxism with a human face, they vetted this man because they knew that his fundamental transformation of America would destroy this constitutional republic. That was always Obama's agenda.
I agree with you. Now, with the shooter, everyone always asks, what's the motive? What's the motive? And he was in a very prominent area of Midtown Manhattan. He entered a financial building that had the heads of the NFL and Blackstone and so forth, very well-to-do financial people. These were multimillionaires, even billionaires. Probably some of President Trump's friends were in that building. And he tried to make his way up to the top floor and he couldn't. So he ended up at the 33rd floor and looked around and didn't see anybody prominent he wanted to murder, and then just killed himself. But obviously the damage was done. He killed 4 innocent lives, including a cop. Would you say there is some correlation between George Soros and Barack Hussein Obama here, bringing these people out of nowhere, these terrorists? I mean, this was clearly a terrorist attack. I'm going to call it a terrorist attack. I know the media, the mainstream media doesn't like to call it that, but I believe this was. Just like anybody that shoots, that screams out free Palestine, which is what this guy did before he killed himself. Like I said earlier, that is the new Allahu Akbar. That is a terrorist. So my question to you, Deplorabella, I'll go back to you. Do you feel that George Soros and Barack Obama had a lot to do with this?
I don't know yet enough about this case. It certainly is peculiar. But actually, Alexandra, I'm more concerned about the existence of sanctuary cities, which have caused much more blood to flow than occurred in this particular horrendous massacre. They have set up little confederacies. And isn't it interesting that the Democratic Party, which gave us slavery, secession, and segregation, promoted white racism, flipped in the time of cultural Marxism, DEI, and CRT to give us black racism. And what they are doing in their war on Christians, Jews, men, the meritocratic, people who want to exercise common sense and exercise their liberties without danger of FBI surveillance, which they suffered under Biden, or CIA disinformation from a complicit media, which we continue to suffer from. It is really important that these sanctuary cities be ended, not just defunded. They are unconstitutional. They are little confederacies. It is Dixie writ large. And in those sanctuaries, which are repositories for resistance and revolution, they aid and abet the corrupt, communists like Mayor Bass and opportunistic ideologues like Newsom when he's not dining at the the French Laundry during COVID. They are conspiring to use our money for their own self-aggrandizement and for the destruction of this nation. They are not to be trusted. They cannot be trusted any more than the fast rail service that Newsom sunk billions of dollars into without laying 1 mile of track. No, it's got to stop. There can be no sanctuary cities where lawlessness is abetted and, in fact, applauded.
I agree. Now, Scott, I pivot that to you. You live in a state where there's a lot of sanctuary counties. Baltimore City is a sanctuary city. President Trump has called that out. And you have an attorney general that combats President Trump. And, you know, and you have a...
Well, thankfully, we're in a county.
I'm sorry?
Okay.
No.
Thankfully, we're in a county that's supported by, Sheriff DeWeese and those who are not going to tolerate the sanctuary policies, as well as anything that really goes against our Second Amendment rights or any other rights in the Constitution. So we're kind of in a little oasis here in the desert of absolute nonsense. But, just like you talked about areas with sanctuary cities, there's also the no-go zones, which are far worse, where essentially Sharia law on a small scale has been implemented, and we're going to start seeing that. We certainly would start seeing it in New York. We're talking about when Mamdani wants to preferentially tax white affluent Christian neighborhoods over others. You had even Eric Adams, a current mayor, is talking about another act of senseless gun violence. That's what he's focusing on, which says nothing about the punches and kicks in Cincinnati with absolutely no gun violence, or the brave Black Marine who disarmed a knife-wielding idiot in Traverse City. So you can ban all you want, but it was that gun that stopped other people from being stabbed. It could have been anyone who would have put that phone down from videoing and either called 911 or took something into their own hands, whether it was a concealed carry or something else, to stop people from being beaten up in the city. So we've enabled this, and the enemy domestic in that oath to the Constitution is certainly here and prevalent. And I think, when you're talking about anti-Semitism, it becomes far more dangerous because we have enablers amongst our own ranks. In World War II, we called them capos, who were those who were put in positions of power in concentration camps to do the bidding of the guards, and hopefully to be the last to the gas chamber. But I can promise you, anyone bowing at the altar of the cult of multiculturalism now in the hopes of being last is going to be first, because I'm going to ensure it. This Jew will not allow that. They're not going to then come running and say, I didn't see this coming. This is the same kind of thing. I never understood until now how Jews in Europe could say, well, I'm a Pole, I'm a German, why are you doing this to me? We're Americans here, and this is being done right in front of our eyes, and we have complicit Schumer, Schiff, Nadler, and Raskin. We have those too, like Dave Smith, and he says things like, I was looking up, interestingly, the name of Jew in name only, or Gino, today in the Urban Dictionary, and one of the definitions says this type of Jew has no reverence for their heritage or the historical struggles of their people. They usually start a sentence with "as a Jew," only to end with something that is decidedly not consistent with Jewish thought, values, history, or beliefs. Additionally, they are often propped up by anti-Semites as one of the good ones in order to validate the discriminatory behaviors committed against the majority. And the other definition would be the Judenrat, which were the councils that were put in the ghettos to do the bidding of the Nazis and decide who is going to be next on those trains. So as long as we have people like that in Congress and in Hollywood, including Spielberg and Streisand and Bette Midler and billionaires like Soros, who is, I hate using literally, but he was a capo. I mean, that we will never get anywhere because we have to purge those bad apples from our own midst, or because they're the ones with enough disproportionately loud and obnoxious voice and influence to be able to get these people in under the wire, to promote their campaigns, to make excuses. Like Bernie Sanders is probably one of the worst in that regard too. So we have it in our own, and they're not hapless victims. They know that they're doing this for power, but you have people like Pelosi who are orchestrating this because she wants to get anti-Semites on the right to be mad and say, look, these Jews are the face of impeachment. Let's go after them. Look who's against Trump, and thereby disguise the fact that the true institutionalized, you talk about systemic racism, the systemic anti-Semitism far beyond the gaslighting that the left does about racism is in the Democrat Party, and in the squad, and even within the Jews within the Democrat
I just want to interject, Alex. We only have like 4 minutes. And the question will be to your mom, of course. Your son just made a really good point. There's a lot of anti-Semites that are in Congress. There's a lot of people that actually attack Israel. They're congressmen, and they attack our biggest ally, Israel, which is crazy. They don't want us to help Israel. They don't want us to provide aid for Israel. God forbid that, President Trump has a great relationship with Israel. It's a problem. What say you about that, Deplorabella?
Josh Hammer makes a very, very good point.
I know
Jews would do well to ally themselves very closely with our Christian brothers, who are also cited in the Quran for annihilation. I'm wondering how far away we are from Europe, which has totally capitulated to invasive hordes of Islamists who have established their cultures and destroyed the national sovereignty and cultures of European countries with the complicity of their governments, the UK, Ireland, France, Belgium. It's all over Western Europe. There are a few enclaves in Eastern Europe where allegiance to Western values still hold true. Biden lost 300,000 children who are now beginning to show up sex trafficked and as enslaved labor, because as Crockett says, we're not going to pick the cotton. So she wants to bring in these other people of color, these illegal aliens, to do the work she deems unfit. You hear Pelosi, who always claims everything she does is for the children. I think she means enriching her own. But in any event, she has no problem with the fact that in England, grooming gangs of Pakistani Muslims not only took over the culture of England, setting up Sharia courts, practicing polygamy on the dime of the British taxpayers, arresting Brits who dare to question or criticize the Quran, or even try to promote the Bible on the streets or in their own homes online. What is going on? The anti-Semitism, the willingness to reward the Palestinians to save their own necks, because Paris and France, the Banlieues, they've been surrendered to Muslims who periodically carry out terrorist acts. And Macron is a coward.
Yeah.
So is Keir Starmer, complicit in these Pakistani grooming gangs. He lets them roam free and puts Tommy Robinson, who had the audacity, the temerity to question what he was doing, in jail repeatedly. We are going down the same totalitarian trajectory that Europe has embarked upon. I have no use for the EU, not much for NATO, none for the UN, which is occupying very valuable real estate, which should be fumigated and turned over to the American people, but not to Mamdani to make it high density income for the illiterate, the illegal, the homeless, the addicted, the mentally insane to carry out their war on the streets of New York against tax-paying, law-abiding American citizens. We are being replaced. They want dependent, infantilized minorities who they can control. Academia, the institutions, the unions, the celebrities, Hollywood, woke corporations, the deep state. There are so many totally involved in this horrific revolution against America. I implore Donald Trump, who is doing a magnificent and unprecedented job in cleansing the swamp, to take every step necessary to stop the lawfare, the judicial activists, and their iteration of the coup, and do what he has to do. He has the mandate of the American people, and this might be our last chance to save this constitutional republic.
I agree. So
We have people like Officer Didarul Islam, who may have been one of those shining examples of what a true moderate Muslim was in this country, who is assimilating, who is taking part in law enforcement and believed in meritocracy, to hold a second job, to help his wife and pregnant wife and 2 children. And he was killed yesterday. And I just want to make one comment. I mean, I'm not usually, vulgar like,
like me, like Scott, like Seth. I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm beating Seth.
I'm going to break from that right here, because at 8:46, you had a comment on here by someone going under the handle Asian, where it says free Gaza. Asian. Fuck Gaza and fuck you. Okay? Fuck you. Level Gaza, motherfucker. Okay, I'm back.
Amen.
Sorry, Mom.
You can say that, guys.
You can say it with my blessing. I'm Yisrael High.
I'm Yisrael High. Again, when you say free Gaza or free Palestine, that is the new
Hamas to free Gaza.
It is a terrorist statement. Anyone who says it should actually go to Gaza, should go and hang out with
today. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Why don't you go over there and we can pick you out of the bulldozer's treads like Rachel Corrie, and I'll drive it. This retired lieutenant colonel will see you face to face, Asian, so you can hide behind that handle all you want, but that's all you're going to get.
He's probably a bot. He probably doesn't even. He's probably a bot. I don't know, some moron.
But you know what? He allowed me to make a point that I'm calm now.
Hey,
I
agree with you. Again, and like I said, we do have to go because the segment's over. But you guys have been a wealth of knowledge. I want you guys to come back. You guys are awesome. I mean,
see you tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, that's right, Scott. Yeah, I'm gonna.
And I look forward to seeing you at Tim Fazenbaker's event on Sunday as well.
That's right. Thank you. I'm gonna bring that up later. I'm glad that you brought that up. Thank you. So Scott will be a special guest on our show tomorrow night on the Pulse from 8 to 9 p.m. He's also coming to Tim Fazenbaker's event. I'm going to talk about that in segment 3. That's Sunday from 4 to 7 p.m. in Dundalk at the Bayview Grill, and we hope everybody can come. You're also invited, Miss Deplorabella. If you'd like to come.
I'll see you next week, Mom, on vacation. Love you.
You bet. Thank you, Alexandra. It was a treat.
Thanks so much. And we'll be right back, everybody, after the break.
All right.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. And yes, I am a political consultant. I own my own political consulting firm. Please go to levineconsulting.co. That's levineconsulting.co. Book a consultation with me today. If you are a serious candidate that is serious about winning, you have a business plan, excuse me, I'm burping, and you want to win and you want my advice on how to win. So please, again, go to levineconsulting.co, book a consultation with me today. So segment 3 talks about winners for the weekend, winners in government, people that are rising stars, people that are heroes. Segment 3 starts out with this first slide, hero alert. Meet Derek Perry, the guy with the firearm, the good guy. I can't even read my own handwriting because my pen went out of juice. The good guy with a firearm who helped subdue the Walmart mass stabbing in Transverse, Michigan. The mass stabbing suspect. See, I can't even read my own writing because I was writing so fast. In Transverse, Michigan. I'll repeat that for the crowd. Hero alert, meet Derek Perry, the good guy with a firearm who helped subdue the Walmart mass stabbing suspect in Traverse, Michigan. Good men who are armed save lives. And I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Now, as you notice, his race wasn't brought up. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. It does not matter. Frickin' CNN saying that the New York shooter was a white guy. Well, this hero was a black guy. So for everybody to bring up race, it has nothing to do with race. It just has to do with the person. This guy saw the situation. He happened to be armed, and he negated the situation. He helped, or I can't even think of the words now. He stopped a very serious situation. He stopped a situation that could have been worse. There's the words. Now it's coming out. Sorry, I'm still tired from my flight. I did sleep twice on the airplane, but sometimes, it's funny. I'm still in the Eastern time zone, but you still get a little jet laggy when you're flying. But anyway, Derek Perry is a hero. I hope there's more heroes like him. He stopped something that could have been. And we honor people like that. We don't bring up their race. It's not about your race. It's about the person. Yeah, my friend Donald Willinger is right. There are good and bad people in the world. Race has nothing to do with it. That's 100% correct. It has nothing to do with race. I want to shake this man's hand, Derek Perry. In my opinion, he should get a Medal of Honor. Anybody who saves lives in a department store, on a subway, in a train, in a car, should get a medal. Because they are putting themselves on the line. They're risking themselves. They're willing to sacrifice themselves for you. President Trump puts his life on the line every day he's the president of the United States. There's always a target on that man's back. And he knows it. He knows every time he walks out of the White House or out of a car, there's a chance something could happen to him. Every time he goes to a rally now, there's a chance something could happen to him. So we have to think of the heroes, guys. The heroes that put themselves out there, that will fight for you. What is the definition of a hero? Someone that will risk it all. Someone that will save your family. Someone that will save this nation. Someone that will stand for those that stand with you. Someone that will fight to the death for you. Someone that loves you unconditionally. Someone that has so much love in their heart, they're willing to share it with the country and the world. Let me ask you all a question. Who is your hero? My grandfather was my hero. He served our nation, but he was a good man. He was good to my grandmother. He raised his 4 children well, and he was a great great person. He was my favorite. I know he loved me unconditionally. He always invited me back to the house in Maryland. And I know that he's looking down on me and watching over me from heaven. But I want to bring up another hero. And I brought his name up before, but this is important. I want to bring up my good friend Tim Fazenbaker. He's a hero. And that was him at the Edgemere Parade this last weekend on Friday. He's been to that parade since 2017, maybe even before that. I actually happened to walk with him at that parade a couple of years ago. I wasn't able to come with him this year because I was in Florida. But I can tell you, the crowd was roaring his name. Every person that he approached knew him, loved him. The reception was phenomenal. Talking to people, talking to law enforcement. Let's go to the next images. Interacting with people. There were some elected officials that were just sitting in their cars. They wouldn't even walk in parades. Not Tim. He will walk. He will stand for you. He will fight for you. He will do for you. He's an elected official now. All of those people that he talks to are currently his constituents. But now he's running for higher office to do more for the people of his district. And he loves his community. And his children were there too, helping him out. It's so nice to see his children, who I've watched grow right before my eyes, be at these parades with their father. They love it. They love to hear the crowd say their father's name. They say, "Hey, Tim, we know you. Hey, Tim. Hey, you're that guy on Facebook. I love your posts. Oh my God, are you Tim Fazenbaker?" He gets it everywhere he goes. His name is in everybody's mouth, everybody's head, everybody's mind. Tim is always on people's minds. There was a Lincoln Reagan dinner with his Central Committee. He wasn't there because he had to work. But everybody was buzzing about him. People were asking what he's running for. This guy who's a rhino wants to run against him. And he said, "I'm running against him." And we're like, "Oh, you moron. Really? You stand with Westmore? You stand with Chris Van Hollen? You want to run against Tim? You want to run in an America First MAGA district? You're a moron and an idiot. Best for you to run for something else, dude." You try to take down Tim's district, take down Tim's base. It ain't going to happen. Guess what? Tim's base is his base. They ain't going nowhere. Doesn't matter what bullshit that you push towards them. Guess what? We know your bullshit, and we're going to continue to expose you. And you're just going to end up making your life a living hell because you're going to lie to the people. You're not even going to door knock. You're not even going to talk to the voters. You're going to go to your developers and your union workers and your laborers. Maybe you'll go to some illegals because your friend Chris Van Hollen loves illegals. And that's where you'll draw your attention. That's where some of your money will come from. You won't actually talk to the people of Dundalk and Edgemere and Sparrows Point. They don't want your ass anyway. They know that you're fake. And you need to come out and say that you're fake. You need to come out and say that you're a rhino. Honesty is the best policy. Because the more you continue to lie and say you're a MAGA guy, it's not going to bode well for you, dude. Not at all. You're being exposed every day, and you will continue to be exposed. Because we don't want liars in office. And President Trump wants to keep MAGA districts MAGA, conservative districts conservative, America First districts America First, and he wants America First people in there. That's why it's important that Tim is in this position. It's important that Tim wins because he is the MAGA America First guy that will get the job done for his district. He's the type of guy that President Trump wants in local office and beyond. Let's see some other slides of the day. That's Tim talking to law enforcement, talking to some more of his constituents. Next slides. And those two women. So to the left, you have a woman named Kimberly Stansberry. She's running for Baltimore County Executive. I fully endorse and support her. She's awesome. Her husband served our nation. She ran a couple of years ago. She did a phenomenal job. We call her Mama Bear. She is a force to be reckoned with. Even Johnny Oshevsky, the congressman, is scared of her. She is an awesome woman, clean record, clean woman, has a great heart, and she's loyal. And then the other woman is Angela Sudana Marcellino, who's also on Tim's committee. Her cousin is former state delegate Rick Impalaria, who actually ran against him when Tim ran for Congress, but they're buddies. Even though they ran against each other, they both believed in the same things, the same ideals. We love Rick Impalaria. We love Angela. Angela's been very supportive of Tim and his campaign, and we appreciate her support. She's there when it counts. She actually pushed him to be the first vice chair of his committee. She said the most beautiful words about him. And we thank her for it. She's a good woman. Everybody that meets Tim loves him. When they get to know him, they're like, oh my God, you're so awesome. But the rhinos and the establishment, they want to spread falsities because that's what they do. That's all they know. That's all they know how. That's all they know how to do. There we go. The words will come. The words are coming, guys. But that's what the rhinos, that's all they know how to do, is lie and cheat and steal. But guess what? We're going to out-campaign the competition. We're going to outsmart the competition. And we're going to be too big to rig. Because all these voters that voted for Tim are going to vote for him again in double. And anybody that stands with Governor Wes Moore and Senator Chris Van Hollen can't be trusted. Tim is your guy. Tim is the guy that's going to make things happen for we the people. He doesn't just talk, he does the work. I have seen his actions. And a lot of people know that he does the work. He's got a lot of power and influence. He's got influence with people that work for President Trump. He's got influence with White House reporters. He's got influence with Thomas Homan and Stephen Moore. Stephen Moore, who was Trump's finance person. David Harris Jr. is a personal friend of ours. He's on Newsmax. And many other big names in the business. As you know, I have a special relationship with my governor, Ron DeSantis. I worked with him when he ran for governor both times. He saved my grandfather from COVID by giving him the monoclonal antibody treatment, Regeneron. I literally can call my governor anytime and ask him for help. That's the connection I have. And I have great connections with my state senators, state representatives in the state of Florida, and incumbent congressmen in the state of Florida as well. That's my connection. And of course, I'm a White House reporter. My connection is with Caroline Levitt and the White House press team. My connection is anytime I walk into the White House lawn, if I see President Trump, I can ask him a question. If I see any of the bigwigs, I'm very good friends with Rick Grinnell. Judge Janine is a friend of mine. And I'm friends with other White House reporters as well, such as Griff Jenkins from Fox News, Katie Pavlich from townhall.com, and so forth. I don't like to throw names out. But again, if you're a rhino trying to run in a very hardcore MAGA district, Tim and I have the connections to take you down. My best advice to his competition is don't even compete against him. Just go home or run for something else. You don't want to go up against Tim and I. We're not playing, we're not messing around. This is Tim's to win. He's the front runner. Leave him alone. Let him win. Let him do for the will of the people. And if you want to see Tim Fazenbaker, let's show up his image. We did have a flyer, but we had to change the time due to scheduling conflicts. So the time is now this Sunday, August 3rd, at the Bayview Grill from 4 to 7 p.m. It's going to be 4 to 7 p.m. August 3rd. It's a Sunday. At the Bayview Grill, it's in Dundalk. It used to be the Seasoned Mariner. Now it's called the Bayview Grill. It's a beautiful area. It's going to be right on the water. We're going to have it right outside. Tim is going to give a gorgeous speech right outside near the water. We're expected to have about, I'm not even going to say, I won't say, but it's going to be a very nice crowd. And we've been planning this for about a month now, and more people are joining the event and coming. Scott Willens, of course, will be there. And of course, we're going to have Kim Stansbury. She's going to be speaking as the candidate for Baltimore County Executive. And John Myrick will be speaking. He is the Republican running for governor of Maryland. So we're going to have some people running for office there. If you've never met these candidates, if you've never met Tim, if you've never met Kimberly Stansbury or John Myrick, this is a perfect opportunity. I don't want people to say, I never met these people. I never met them. This is your opportunity. Go to this event Sunday, August 3rd from 4 to 7. It's after church. No excuses. You guys can come and come meet the candidates. I'll be singing the national anthem. As for people who don't know, I'm a professional opera singer. I've sung all over the country and the world. I'm internationally and nationally renowned. And I will be getting back into the Kennedy Center now that President Trump is the chairperson, with my friend Rick Cornell as the executive director. Now they're going to name it the First Lady Melania Trump Opera House, which will be awesome. So please, guys, come and listen to a professional opera singer, and come and hear Tim and what he has to say, and Kim and John Myrick as well. But guys, it's really important. And please go and support Tim. Go to his website, timfazenbaker.com. That's Tim, FAZENBAKER.com. Make a donation. Average donations have been $300, $500. People have been giving him, a lot more. And the donations are just flowing. I mean, people are just throwing money at him because they know that he'll make a difference. And they know that he is, that he's going to be the one. And that this is his district. He's the front runner. This is his to win. And the people are just throwing the money at him because they know that he's going to win and they believe in him. So please go to timfazenbaker.com. Again, that's TIMFAZENBAKER.com. Make a donation today. Even if you can't come to the event on Sunday, make a donation. If you're coming to the event Sunday, please bring your checkbooks or bring your credit cards and make donations because, as you know, to run for office, you do need money, but we're letting you know that your money is going to a good cause and that your money is going to a candidate in a very pro-Trump MAGA district. I know people are very skeptical of Maryland in certain districts. This is a very red district. When Tim wins the primary, he'll automatically win the general. That's how red this district is. So please, guys, donate to Tim. Very important. And of course, please don't forget our good friend, Seth Eisenberg of the Conservative Corner. We're still raising money for him on his GoFundMe. As you know, he was in the hospital for over a month. He almost lost his foot. Thank God he still has a foot, but he lost a month of work as a result, and he's behind on his bills. He has a son, Ryan, that he supports. He's a wonderful son, but we really need to get back to him. He served our nation. He served the Navy. So please, guys, go to Jonah Eisenberg /health/crisis on GoFundMe. We've already raised over $6,500. The goal for this GoFundMe is $25K. The overall goal is $100K. Please, guys, instead of giving to illegals and murderers, please give to Seth Eisenberg. It's time to give back to those who served us. And of course, my good friend Allison Reedy, she is a patriot, a pioneer, Trump supporter. She is trying to raise money for her son, Dylan Reedy, so he could go to college in Utah. They live in Michigan. As you know, out-of-state college tuition is very expensive. He only wants to go to one college in Utah. He was wrongfully accused. He was found not guilty. Thank God. We say Baruch Hashem in Hebrew. But all he wants to do is go to college and live the American dream. So please, guys, go to givesendgo.com/constitutional. That's givesendgo.com/constitutional. Give to Dylan Reedy immediately. Average donation for him is $100 to $150. He's got a goal as well. Let's get this guy to college. Let's have him live the American dream. And then, of course, our friend Lucretia Hughes. She literally just lost her home. They evicted her from her home. They have found out that somebody forged her husband's signature on a document. It was a forgery. It was a document to evict to make sure that they didn't live in their house that they're living in. She actually just was on a podcast about it, which I posted on my YouTube channel. But please, guys, go to givesendgo.com and help Lucretia restore her home. She's temporarily living with a friend, and then, her friend can only have her stay over for so long. She needs to get back to her home. And she has a very strong case. She's been talking to county sheriffs, district attorneys, state's attorneys, so forth, the governor, anybody that she can to get her house back. So please, guys, go to givesendgo.com/retake our home or restore. I think it's retake our home, restore our home. I think it's retake our home. Please, guys, please. It's very, very, very important. I appreciate Mr. Emery Randolph for saying, "Where the hell have I been? You could listen to me all day." That's awesome. I listen to myself all day, every day. So if you want to listen to me every day, I'll send you all my YouTubes. Thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate, your comments. Thank you for subscribing too. Again, please, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to my show, Alexandra Levine Live, but also don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at America's Pulse Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe to at America's Pulse Network on Rumble. Guess what, guys? We're now on TikTok. So don't forget to like and subscribe to our TikTok at America's Pulse Network. We're also on Parler at America's Pulse Network. We're also on Truth Social at America's Pulse Network. So we have multiple different platforms that America's Pulse Network is on. That's how we get going. That's how we're able to stream to the country and to the world. The more subscribers we get, the more we can produce our shows, the more we can be on. As you know, I'm on 3 days a week. I would love to be on 5 days a week. And as you know, as a White House correspondent, I would like to go down to the White House as often as I can, but the more you guys like and subscribe, then I can go down there. If you're interested in sponsoring our network or my show, please go to americaspulsenetwork.com, fill out the sponsorship form. We're always looking for sponsors. If you're interested in being a podcaster on our show, please go to americaspulsenetwork.com, fill out the podcaster Google Sheet, and we would love to have you on. And again, guys, don't forget we have we have 3 other shows on this network. We have the Pulse tomorrow night I'll be hosting. So Mr. Emery Randall, if you want to hear me, I'll be hosting the whole hour with about 5 other people tomorrow night. Scott Willens will be on with our new special guest, Stephen Carr. Damon Galdo will be on. Elena Barber will be on. If Seth Eisenberg is feeling better, he'll be on as well. I know he's a little under the weather. But please, guys, join the Pulse of America tomorrow night from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes we go over, sometimes we go to 9:30 like I'm going tonight. And don't forget, we have the Jersey Shore with my good friend Damon Galdo every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Also Friday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. He also does a repeat of his radio show, The Jersey Shore. So please, guys, don't forget to follow at Damon Galdo on X, at Damon Galdo on Facebook to see his show, The Jersey Shore. And guys, don't forget my good friend Seth Eisenberg, The Conservative Corner, every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. That's Sunday, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Don't forget to follow him on X at Conservative Seth on X, and at The Conservative Corner on Facebook. And he's always on the Pulse with us on Wednesday nights. And again, don't forget to follow me, Alexandra Levine, on Facebook, Alexandra LEVI20 on X, at ARLevine85 on Rumble, at ARLevine85 on True Social, at ARLevine85 on Instagram, at ARLevine85. I'm going to be on TikTok, so that's going to be my TikTok handle, ARLevine85 on TikTok, and at Levine Consulting on YouTube. Thanks again, guys, for watching our show tonight, watching my show tonight. And the reason you listen and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
Righteous pride in this one big voice, it's our time. Generation fighters take the stand. From shore to shore we reclaim the land. Grit and glory in every strand. And
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.